Welcome to the high school edition of Football Friday, brought to you in part by Josh Houston and Associates, one source, one company. By the Metro Nashville Police Department. Apply today at mnpd.com. By Southern Trophy House. Visit their showroom at 2705 Nolensville Pike. And by Star Physical Therapy, committed to serve. Now let's head to the gridiron with George Plaster and Billy Derrick, a high school edition of Football Friday.
And hello again, everybody. Welcome in on what is a cloudy, overcast Friday in Nashville, Tennessee. And let me say right off the bat, thank God it's Friday. As you can tell from the backdrop, we are at Christ Presbyterian Academy, CPA. They host a big playoff game tonight against FRA. And with all of that in mind, we say hello to CPA football coach Ingle Martin. All of you in this packed house, give him a hand.
Thanks, George. Well, we do believe in academics here, and so
Really?
yeah, our kids are in class. Contrary to some of the places that you may have attended, in the 70s.
Are you talking about Battleground Academy?
In the 70s, I've heard stories.
It was an academic. How do you think I got in Vandy?
I don't know. I think the 70s was a different era. Yeah.
So you've hired Connor Stallions.
It doesn't appear that we've hired Connor Stallions. Yeah, that's
So-
news to me.
So the news got out earlier that Michigan fired the linebackers coach today.
Yeah, I haven't
Wow.
seen it, but that was the rumor. Was that we were all talking about that guy. We've got a couple
Wow.
of our coaches are from Michigan, and Coach Keck is, he's going to go to the grave thinking that this is nothing to do with Jim Harbaugh, and he had no idea about it. Go Blue. He sounded like Woodson and
Right.
Rich Eisen, all these Michigan Blue Bloods.
It's all Ohio State led.
That's right. Yeah, Ryan Day's the culprit.
So tell me about tonight, because this has got a chance to be a really interesting evening of football.
Yeah, it's in Tennessee, no matter what classification you're in, there are 9 state championship games. And oftentimes, whether it's round 3 or round 4 for the public schools, you're going to have a rematch. And so for us, it's part of it. Almost every year since we've been in Division II, there's been some sort of rematch, whether it's the championship or a semifinal game. And so it's just part of playing people twice. And so FRA's got a great team, great running back, really efficient offense. They play great defense. I think they've scored 40-something points a game this year. Defensively, they haven't given up more than 24 when that was our game, and 21 in the rest of the games. It's a good defense. So it'll be fun. I think our kids have been focused on all year of hosting this game. That was kind of one of the goals. We wanted to host the semifinals in our stadium. And our seniors, we talked about it all week, but to get to know that this is for sure the last time you're ever going to run out in this stadium from our locker room is a special feeling, and we're looking forward to doing it tonight.
It's funny you said that, because I was thinking about this on the way over here. Tonight's one of those nights that when they have some 40-year reunion, and they're all sitting out there going, we're never going to have a 40-year reunion. Yeah, it moves quicker than you think. They're going to be talking about whatever happens tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely a night where memories will be made. And I think again our kids have worked really hard for it, and this is just the opportunity for them to enjoy it. Second and third rounds, heading to Memphis and to Chattanooga, and there's something special about road trips, but I think everyone prefers
Not
a home
special
game.
enough for you to want to
That's
do it
right.
again.
That's right.
Yeah. So do you buy if you've already beaten them once, it's harder the second time? You buy any of that?
Yeah, I think that there's definitely something to that, or else people wouldn't talk about it. Everybody has to coach. Both teams have to coach, and the second game's always a test of what are you going to do? If you were successful, do you change? If you weren't successful, how much do you change? That's really what it is. And so we've been on both sides. We've been the victor in the first game, and we've been the loser in the first game. And so the mentality is trying to get your kids and your group to play to their best. That's really all you can do at this point in the season. And then hopefully you have enough wrinkles and you're ready for whatever wrinkles they put in.
So once a game starts, how quick does a coach figure out, okay, this worked the first time, it's not working this time, they've adjusted, all that kind of stuff. How quick do you process, ooh, wait a minute, this is a little different than the first go round?
Yeah, I think that's what all of our coaches are looking at. Offensively and defensively. What's changed? Has any of the personnel changed? Do they have a kid in a different spot? Are they throwing the ball more, running the ball more than they were? What are they doing on first down? What are they doing on third down? Are they huddling? Are they tempo? All of those things you have to adjust with. And so, but that's why you coach. That's our job, and our guys are, I think, ready for it. And as an offensive guy, you got to have answers for whatever they do. And so you're anticipating something, but they can do whatever they want. And so for us, we've got to be able to practice, whatever we feel like they're going to do. And usually you perform well when you guess right. If you guess wrong and you practice against the wrong look or the wrong situations more time than not, then the kids aren't getting the reps they need to actually what you're calling in the game.
How much, this is some fascinating stuff. How much better are you at this than you would have been, let's say, in year one of being a coach, of figuring out, oh, wait a minute, they're doing something we didn't really work on. When they come over, we got to talk about it.
Well, I was extremely blessed. My first year, we had a guy, it's actually a BGA dad now, Adam Hollis. I don't know if you met Adam, Coach Hollis. And so he and Coach Haywood were talking that first year. And Coach Haywood was a college coach, and Adam Hollis was an Ivy League coach for a number of years. And the two of them were talking about overage. And so as an offensive coach, you don't want to have much overage, meaning you practice a bunch of stuff that you didn't call in the game. And so when that happens, then you've practiced stuff, you've wasted time practicing some that you won't get to in the game. And so you want to limit the amount of overage. Obviously a perfect game plan is everything you run in practice, you run exactly that in the game, and no more or no less. We were talking about one of our guys was a GA at UT Chattanooga, Houston Nichols, and he was counting up. They had I think he said they had 25 second down throws on a game plan. They had 17 runs that they had in a game plan that they didn't have time to practice, but you carry for those odd situations just in case. And so you don't want to chase ghosts. That's a saying for a reason. And so you're taking a calculated risk every time you practice a play, like this play against this look, because you don't have an indefinite amount of time to practice. So you get your 25 or 30 plays that you're going to run over the course of a day. And, the better we do is usually we look back and say, oh, we practiced that this week. No wonder the kids did it well. And that's the thing, these are kids. And so we all have different experiences, but the more they do anything, they get better at. And so the more times we can practice what we're actually going to do, I think our kids have a much better chance of success.
So you and I know each other going way back, but I have not seen one of your teams in a couple of years. Do you call plays?
So we have a plethora of people that help. Coach Haywood's our offensive coordinator. He's been with me for 12 out of 13 years. Houston Nichols came in. This is his third year with us, and so the year that Coach Haywood wasn't here, Coach Nichols was calling the runs. He was the protection guy and calling the runs. Coach Epps, who used to be our receiver coach, he and I would talk about what passes we want to do, and then over the course of the last couple of years, Coach Haywood's come back. We've still got Coach Nichols. We got a new receiver coach, Ruben Branch, and so all of us are working together during the week. And then if someone sees something, we hope that someone would say, "Hey, what about this?" And ultimately, Coach Haywood is going to be the one that calls whatever we're doing. If I see something, I'll say, "Hey, what about this?" And then he can say, "No, I'm going to go here." Okay, great. Or "Hey, let's try this," and we might go to it. but we don't really, I hope, have a lot of egos involved. We want to call what we've practiced, and if someone sees something that other people don't, we hope they speak up, and hopefully we can get to it.
So your career has had all kinds of stuff. There was a Florida, there was a Furman, Green Bay Packers, a little bit of Titans. Did you ever see anybody steal signs?
And it's interesting you say that. In Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers and I were the second and third string, and so our job was taking the signals that were seen by a forward scout. So a forward scout, NFL, a forward scout goes to every future opponent you have, and then they come back with information that they're watching live. And one of the guys brought back a list of signals. And so Aaron and I would look at the film. He'd say play one. We'd look at play one. The guy, touched his ears. Okay, where did he touch? He touched his ears on play 32. It was a 1st and 10 play. Okay, touched him again. Oh, wow, that was edge pressure. So Aaron is a lot smarter than I am. So Aaron picked up on it, and I was kind of his henchman. I was just there to hold the pencil and the paper. But yeah, Aaron was really good. It's not 100%, but I think anything that's happening at Michigan has been happening a lot of places. And I think when you're on top, people want to knock you off. I think someone said that the breeze is always the stiffest at the top of the mountain, and Michigan's up there. And so when that happens, they're coming for you. What's remarkable is that Nick Saban, none of this stuff has ever come up around Nick Saban. He's really good at whatever he's doing. But yeah, it's not unheard of. High school games. If you get a signal from somebody, you can communicate it like that. That's there's nothing wrong with that. That's like saying if they line up in this formation and it's 100% run, you're going to tell your kids that that. And so the question is the ethics behind going and doing what the NFL was allowing, and having someone on the sidelines of a visiting team writing down signals. I think that obviously crosses the line, but at some level, if people can get an edge, someone's doing it somewhere. It's in college football, it's in pro football. We've never had a situation where we felt like that in high school football. And you hope that you can play the game, but the communication part, I think high school will get eventually with the microphone in the helmet of the defensive guy and the offensive guy. I think college will get it now. The NFL's had it for several years. When we were there, the reason we could pick up the signal because the linebacker was still having to get a signal. The NFL is wild. Like they wanted points to be scored. So guess who got to communicate with a headset? The offense. So I don't know how many years the defense didn't have that capability. And so finally they argued. I think Jeff Fisher was on the rules committee, and he was one of the big guys I think that got it flipped. But, the Mike linebacker and the quarterback now have it. So there are no sign stealing. And that's probably the cleanest way to play a game, obviously. But, I'm looking, Coach Nesbitt, our baseball coach, is sitting here. That's baseball. It's been part of it for years, right? Like, yeah, hey, they're stealing here. They're bunting, and so if you get their signals and the guy's throwing off speed, hey, you're going to steal a guy. Ball's going to be in the dirt or whatever. So
my team didn't do enough of that in the playoffs.
I saw that. I also saw you just gave up 5 players for a reliever.
We did.
How are you feeling?
I'm not real wild about that because one of them I'm always going to be a fan of, Mike Soroka.
Yeah.
Soroka was 5 years ago one of the top 5 in Cy Young Award voting.
2 blown Achilles later.
Yes. I mean, his story it's kind of sad what he's had to go through.
Yeah.
But he got traded last night to the White Sox, as you probably know, and I'll be rooting for him.
Yep.
That's one guy I absolutely will root for. So you won the first game in this matchup. Tell me a little bit about how game 1 went.
Game 1, it was 7-7 at halftime. We had some chances. They gave us a couple turnovers, and then second half, we were able to make a few plays. We got a couple more turnovers. But I think the biggest thing for us, we had 14 penalties for 140 yards, which is actually wild in a high school game.
Let me guess, you've told them that will not happen tonight.
We have talked about it a couple times. So we've got to be disciplined. We definitely have to be aware of situations. But that was a big part for us. Their 5 interceptions were a big part for them. And so they're going to try to play a clean game. We're going to try to play a limited penalty game and see what happens. But they're I think for sure one of the best teams left in our division. And tonight is a great opportunity for our kids and our community.
What do they do best? I mean, obviously they got a great running back in Ty Clark. What is that offensively their strength?
Yeah, Coach Geisinger, old offensive lineman. He's got their kids playing really hard. They're really well coached up front. Their running back's a good player, quarterback's a good athletic player. They've got skill guys on the perimeter, and so when you mix all that up, you can throw it, you can run screens, you can get the back involved in the passing game. They're very multiple, and so that's definitely their strength on offense. And then defensively, they know what they're doing. You don't really see them get misaligned very often. Their kids kind of know what their responsibilities are, and they go and play hard. And they've got a really good kicker, so it should be a good football game.
You've got a good situation in that weather should not be a huge factor.
Yeah, we're blessed. This game before has been, we hosted Eric Gray, Tennessee and Oklahoma, and now New York Giant, and it rained the entire week in 2018, and it rained the entire game, and the guys got done. It looked like a scene from Braveheart. I mean, mud everywhere on all the guys. So we're not going to have that tonight. It doesn't look like, so it should be fun. That was about 37 degrees and pouring rain, so I'll take 58 and light rain all the time.
Okay, let's put you on the spot here.
Okay,
you're a big football fan. Besides the fact that you're a football coach, the national title will be played by whom?
Harbaugh and Michigan go and upset. I say upset, but they're going to beat Ohio State.
Okay.
And I think
not an upset, by the way.
Well,
it is in Ann Arbor.
If your head coach isn't there, it should be somewhat of an upset, right?
You really think that's going to be? I mean, good Lord, Michigan's played half their season without him.
Okay, that's a fair argument. I'm just saying they're dealing with a little adversity there.
Okay,
is that fair?
Well, let me ask you this:
they just lost their linebacker coach.
Okay,
they just lost their forward intelligence. Also,
where does that show up? Is it the 4th and 1? Do we go for it? Where Harbaugh would be saying we absolutely do, and the other guy is not sure.
It's having 12 guys on the field at the end of the game. It's a guy,
Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, it's a guy who's not normally in a situation. He didn't get that extra pointer from whoever he was supposed to get. If your linebacker coach did get fired, now you've got a GA or a quality control guy stepping in. So now you're a man lighter just on recruiting. You're a man lighter on all that kind of stuff. And if your head coach usually helps make decisions during the game, you're missing that part of it. So so I think this is a year Michigan does it. I think if they beat Ohio State, they'll be in the championship. And then Alabama or Georgia, it's just the winner of that game. Minus the Texas scenario where the people put Texas in over Alabama if Alabama upsets Georgia. But Georgia's really good on every part of their offense, defense, special teams. I don't see anybody messing with those two teams.
Okay, I'll go with
what's your pick?
I've got a little bit of a dark horse. First of all,
are you going to pick Washington?
Oh, absolutely not. Washington gets beat tomorrow night at Oregon State.
Then who's your dark horse?
Oregon. I don't think people are dying to play Oregon. Oregon went to Washington and played them toe-to-toe.
Yeah, and Lanny went for every 4th down.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Washington, in my little whatever, is going to lose tomorrow night at Oregon State. Oregon's going to take care, just knock them out completely in the Pac-12 title game.
So you think a one-loss Oregon gets in? Pac-12?
I think it's very possible.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's going to be hard this year to leave the Pac-2 out.
Pac-2, that's a good
Pac-2.
Yep.
Because they've had a great year.
Yeah.
This is as good a year as they're ever going to have. And if they don't get one in this year, when would they?
Well, I don't think they have to worry about it anymore.
No, they don't. They've all scattered.
Yep.
Headed for the
That's
hinterland.
going to be interesting to try to figure out for you next year. having to talk about what conference people are in.
Yeah. You don't agree with my Oregon State, do you?
No. Is it at Oregon State?
It's at Oregon State.
And the Clemson,
come over tomorrow night and watch
the
it.
Clemson guys playing a little bit better.
Ukulele?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, they figured some things out.
Yep.
So I've got Michigan, Oregon in the final.
Okay. I don't agree. I don't
Well,
know how
that's fine.
Why are you leaving Georgia out? That makes no sense.
Look, I mean, at some point, they have to lose at some point.
Yeah. I agree.
Is it this year? I don't know.
The quarterback's playing better than they did last year.
He's playing really good.
They're finally healthy.
So, okay, hold on a second. Are you telling me that they are head and shoulders better than anybody?
Yeah.
Are you really?
I think so.
Billy?
I think the only person that can beat them.
I mean, they just beat number 9 Ole Miss.
The only person
40.
that can beat them is Crimson Tide, I think, and that's just because of the Saban
the head
effect.
coach.
Yeah,
Okay.
like that guy's ridiculous, and he loves when he's an underdog.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Just remember, I put it out there. Oregon State tomorrow night at home.
You're running a business. You're trying to get viewers. Like I understand. You're trying to be.
No.
You're trying to be. You know, the guy that says the edgy thing.
No, I'm not trying to play shock jock, but I have been saying all week that Oregon State is going to give Washington more than they can handle.
We need to have Engel on like weekly to have these little playoff debates.
Not. He would roast
I
me.
like these debates right
We
here.
know each other way too well. We've done this before.
Yeah, it's usually about a golf shot or
it is
someone maybe is sandbagging.
Did you tell him about the bowling night?
Yes, I was. I was a winner in the Preds bowling deal.
Was Mookie Betts on your team?
No, but might as well have been. There were two people that bowled over 275.
Good. Night.
I had a 135 and a 120. You all laugh out there. You're no better than I am.
Yeah, I can't talk. I used to be all right, and my wife, the last couple of times we've gone, she's actually outbowled me.
Yeah,
considerably. So
it's not pretty.
No.
So just remember, tomorrow night, Oregon State wins at home against Washington.
Good.
You don't believe that?
Yeah, I like it. Their quarterback's good.
I don't think you believe it at all.
I haven't watched Oregon State except for a couple highlights.
But you're going to tomorrow night, aren't you?
Maybe.
Okay.
We're taking the kids. My wife went to Alabama, so we're taking the kids to watch Chattanooga in Alabama tomorrow.
That's always a big matchup.
It is, but it's the matchup we can get tickets to. You know?
That's true.
Nice. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having us as well.
Appreciate it, and always love spending time with you.
Engel Martin has been our guest head football coach at CPA. We thank him. Look at the nice backdrop he got.
Silas Bryant got us set up here.
This is big time.
Your understudy, you know that he did his first game. He did it with his dad, and he had his boards out that you showed him how to make. He's going to be taking your job in a couple years, George.
Somebody needs to.
Well, you just need to start a media empire and just pull all the strings.
Start
getting these young guys in.
People.
That's right.
Absolutely. Okay, now that we've got that solved, we'll go to the break, and then we'll check in with the Metro Nashville Police Department, find out what the word is as we go through, what is this, Billy? Week number 13 of this?
I can't even count. It's
Either
the last
way, 14. Stay tuned.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville. Give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com. Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. Okay, we welcome all of you back to Christ Presbyterian Academy Football Friday, and as part of that, we have our Metro Nashville Police Department talk. Normally, it's Officer Garen Hoskins. He's actually here. I'm going to make him come over here at the end. Larry Williams is here with us as well.
I'm back.
I think the problem is that Garen doesn't want to talk about the Tennessee-Georgia game.
Uh-oh. That could be George. He's a big UT fan.
No, are you serious?
That's what I've been told. Some squirrel told me that.
Wow.
So we'll see. But yeah, get him in here and talk some stats and statistics and see what we can come up with.
Hold on a second. I think by popular demand,
he's back.
Okay, now get in here where they can see you. Let's see if we can.
Here, I'll come on.
Hold on.
Yeah, come on.
Let's see if we can adjust some things here.
There you go.
So I want you to put the headset on, and let's see if we can get all three of you in here for a minute, and then we'll get serious. Look into that camera and tell me why Tennessee beats Georgia.
Well, it's I think the best prediction that I can come up with, it's a 10.5 spread.
Right.
I was just looking at Tennessee only wins this game if Joe Milton plays out of his mind and the defense plays out of their mind as well. And we get up early and we can keep that lead. I think, I'll be honest, I think Georgia would have to have a couple of injuries to go with that.
A couple of turnovers.
Just seeing with my prediction from last week in Mizzou, it was horrible.
Yeah.
So, but as a diehard UT fan, born and raised in Knoxville, bleeding orange, go Vols, baby.
Here's the blueprint. Score first, get the lead and get that massive crowd behind you.
Absolutely.
Don't let them get negative. Don't give them a reason early to get negative.
Oh, that's absolutely what it is. We got a Georgia fan out here that was just showing me his dog's hat going on.
You know what, though? The guess is he didn't even know Georgia existed 4 years ago.
Hey, all I'm going to say is Uga is way uglier than Smokey is.
Yeah, I would agree.
Smokey's a beautiful dog.
I would agree with that.
I think we win in that category. But yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, since we've got the whole group here in the picture, and it's basically been nonsense so far. When we started this, 3 months ago, a little more than 3 months ago, not many people knew that the Metro Nashville Police Department had opened a division that essentially is a recruiting team. So, how has that gone? Where are you all reaping the benefits of that?
Well, George, good question. It's been a pleasure this season partnering with you and having this opportunity.
I have loved it.
Yes, sir, to come out to the different schools every Friday. How it's benefiting us, our applications have gone up. People are reaching out to us. They're going to our website, joinmmpd.com. They're calling us. They have questions. How can I apply? Where do I go to apply? So it's been very beneficial. So just something that hopefully we can continue next season and grow from there.
Garen, the person out there that hasn't heard this for 13 weeks, their first reaction might be, yeah, I'd be interested, but it's so hard, it's impossible. And you've been trying to put it out there. It's not impossible. In fact, it's anything but that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, George, from last Friday when we talked, I talk a lot about training, equipment, benefits, pay, and all that. I'm a first generation police officer myself. Even though I grew up in Tennessee and Southern and all that, I had zero experience with firearms. And the training that I went through with the police academy and everything like that has given me the knowledge with medical skills, with firearm skills, with tactical skills, with public speaking skills, with everything. And I'm going to tell you this. It doesn't matter what background you come from, whether you have some knowledge. We have military men and women that come to the police department after they leave the military, or we have college graduates or people that are just out there working everyday jobs. We have people come to us and they get trained up exactly how to be a Nashville Guardian. I mean, this police department, especially with Chief Drake being at the helm, has taken this department and created something where the community can get behind. And that all starts with a simple application to our department. And just like I said, 3 months ago when we had our first talk on your show, if someone would have applied then, they could be going through the academy right now and getting that experience. So I'll say it again, like I said last week, if you're looking for a change in your life and you're looking to do something different in 2024, and maybe you've been flipping hamburgers for the last 3 years, hey, if you're looking to do something different, join MNPD.com and we'll take it from there.
Larry, last word on all this. I think we've had a shift in the way our community looks at you guys and gals. It's the only good thing that came out of Covenant was the realization that if you all hadn't been there, how much worse would it have been? And I think the public has sort of rallied around and realized we've got a pretty damn good police force.
True statement, George. And we credit that to the training. As Officer Hoskins said, once you join this department, we train you to do everything. Like he said, he didn't have any marksmanship experience. He has that experience now because he was trained. There's a lot of good quality that goes into the training that is offered, state of the art. We are CLIA accredited. Our instructors at the academy are good at what they do. And that shows it. Covenant just brought that to light to the world. I think the city of Nashville knew what type of police department was here, but the world knows now.
By the way, if you ever look at a police car, that word guardian is on all of your cars, isn't it?
It is.
Correct.
Yeah.
It is. Nashville's Guardian.
Hey, I have enjoyed this year tremendously with you all.
Yes, sir.
And
It's
I
been
thank you.
fantastic. It's
Let's-
been fantastic. I'm super excited to have been on your show and to maybe do it next year. But I will
We'd love
say
that.
this: you know me, and the Pat McAfee inside of me
Uh-oh.
on this show, right?
Uh-oh.
So I'm actually a brand new part-time employee of CPA, working their school football games through the Metro Nashville Police Department.
Really?
And I'm going to say from right here, right now, we're doing CPA all the way. Let me get up. Let's go.
You know what? That was pitiful. I mean, you just put out something that should have absolutely raised the roof. And as I often say, it wouldn't have paid the light bill.
Hey, well, I will
Try it one more time. Let's see if
let's get CPA. Let's go. Hey, there we go.
nice.
If I
Much
wasn't
better.
sporting this wonderful uniform here that I wear every day proudly, I would probably do a Pat McAfee and take the shirt off, and but I'll skip that. I'll represent Metro Nashville Police Department the way they should be.
Love it. Thank you both.
You're welcome, George.
Yes,
Good
sir.
luck
Pleasure,
tomorrow.
sir.
You're going to need it.
Oh, I know.
Uh-oh.
Okay, that's Officers Larry Williams and Officer Garen Hoskins joining us from the Metro Nashville Police Department. After the break, we'll check in on all the other big games that are going on around the Nashville, Middle Tennessee area, because there's a lot riding on round 3. Stay tuned. On Monday, November the 27th, I'll be playing host to the 3rd annual Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night here at the Strike and Spare on Lebanon Pike. Here's where I need your help. We have 64 foursomes that will play with 64 sports celebrities. We've done a good job in getting the foursomes, and now I need some of you as single players to sign up and get involved. The cost is $200. The proceeds will benefit the Last Minute Toy Store and the Martha O'Brien Center. And what I promise you that night is great bowling, maybe not, great food, a ton of fun, and in fact, I'll make this claim, more fun than any charity sports event you have ever been involved in. To get involved, simply email me, plastergeorge@gmail.com. Let me know whether you want to be in the 6 to 8 p.m. shift or the 8 to 10, and get ready for a night of bowling and fun you'll never forget. Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615
832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
Welcome back to Christ Presbyterian Academy ahead of tonight's big matchup, CPA and FRA. But it's time to talk about some of the other games around the Mid-State, and I'm happy now to be joined not by George Robinson, but Tyler Palmatier, his partner over there at the Tennessean. Tyler, thanks for checking in here. I know it was a late notice, but thanks for taking the time. Let's start with, I know there's a ton of big games around the Mid-State tonight, but I want to start with Oakland at Riverdale. And, of course, this is a rematch from their regular season meeting earlier this season. What are you most excited to see in that one tonight?
Yeah, I guess it's just whether, Riverdale and its offense can kind of keep doing what it's been doing. Braden Graham at quarterback has been so good. I would say, recruiting stars and everything aside, statistically, he is having the best season of any quarterback in the state. So however you want to categorize that, he has played against a good schedule better than any other quarterback with, I believe he just has 3 interceptions at this point. So I guess I'm just interested to see if that can continue and if that can translate to a win. I mean, beating Kevin Creasy twice in one season is not easy. I would guess he learned a lot from that first meeting, and that was obviously decided in kind of a crazy way. But, I mean, we're talking about a tide shift in 6A a little bit if Riverdale can get past Oakland tonight.
Tyler, let's move on. Marshall County and Pearl-Cohn. Pearl's a team, obviously, that has been in the headlines. I think it was you that wrote the really good piece there on Coach Brunetti and the history that's at stake. Am I mistaken in saying tonight's win could be that win to make history?
I believe he would tie the all-time Metro coaching record tonight. So he would co-share it, and then he would if a win tonight and then a win next week to get them into the state finals would put him ahead. Okay,
so is obviously you had a chance to sit down and talk to him. The type of coach like that, you don't see a ton of Coach Brunetti's around the Mid-State. George and I got a chance to hang out with him. What stood out to you most about him and how his team has been able to keep rolling this year and honestly, Tyler, be one of the better teams he's had in a while? But they also got to play a Marshall County team that they made it tough on them earlier this season.
Yeah, I don't know. The reason they've been so good this year is just their depth, I would say. They've had a couple injuries and have just been able to continue to roll. They've gotten pretty good quarterback play out of Keyshawn Tarleton and just a really tough defense that was able to obviously it's been rolling against its 4A opponents, but then you look its ability, beat CPA, beat MBA. So a really good defense, a big physical defense. I would say that's a good foundation that they have, and then just the amount of skill players they have. I mean, Javion Kennard is one of the most electric players around. Darius Reed, the receiver, is really good, and then the guy that has sort of emerged is Zion Simpson-Smith, a really big body who can plays defense. He started out on defense, but now he's carrying the ball. They had to have had over 150 yards of penalties in the first half against Marshall County in that meeting, and they still won 42-17. So I think Pearl is the only team that can kind of beat itself at this point.
All right, let's move on to the Battle of the Woods, and it's crazy how many rematches we're already getting to see from really good games in the regular season. But these two teams, every year they have to meet in the regular season, and it's not every year they meet in the postseason. They have done it before. But Tyler, what are you expecting in this one? Because I can't really put my finger on it, but when you look at this playoff matchup, I know they faced in the regular season. What are you expecting to see?
I don't know. I didn't cover that first game, but George did.
Yeah.
And he was of the opinion that maybe Ravenwood went a little bit vanilla offensively. So that kind of made him wonder, did Will Hester over at Ravenwood just decide, look, we could see them again. This, of course, could get us a region title and a good playoff path. But whether or not he did that, I don't know. But Ravenwood is going to have to figure out a way to score. And it commits to the run. There's not a whole lot of down the field passing with the sophomore quarterback, Femi Babalola. He's still kind of figuring that out, but he's got a great receiver in Ben Hubbard who can make a play from scrimmage or take a short pass a long way. And then they've got a good run game. So that's the path there. And then defensively, just getting enough stops to maybe keep this low scoring. I think they would love to win, ideally, like a 21-17 type game or even lower. Brentwood's not going to give up a lot of points. 21 points for Ravenwood tonight would be a lot. So I would say Ravenwood wants both teams probably would like to keep it somewhat low scoring if they can. For Brentwood, that would mean it hasn't given up a whole lot of anything on offense. And I think with Baylor Hayes at quarterback, that's plenty to get the job done in that situation.
All right, last one here. Tonight's game, FRA at CPA, right here at CPA. They were able to beat FRA earlier in the regular season. It's always tough to beat a team twice. What's the key here for either side? Both teams have been phenomenal this season, but what are you looking at as a couple of keys here to maybe who comes out on top tonight?
I would say just if CPA, that front seven, if it can keep Ty Clark for FRA, who's had a great season at running back. He just picked up his first Power 5 offer from Wake Forest either this week or last. I would say if Ty Clark is kept in check, that's going to be 3/4 of the work because I think FRA is going to be maybe a little bit limited to what it can do from there. So if you can stop that part of FRA, I think you can get a win. I mean, that's really no secret. And then, of course, just got to get enough plays offensively. And I think CPA could do that. But definitely the key to winning this game will be not allowing Ty Clark III to have a big night.
Hey, Tyler, this is George Plaster. Good hearing from you.
Hey, George. Yeah, you too, man.
Thanks for coming on. Tell George Robinson happy Thanksgiving. Same to you as well. And we'll do it again soon down the road.
All right, I'll tell him. I'll tell him. You guys have a happy Thanksgiving too.
Thanks, Tyler.
Tyler Paul Mateer joining us from the Tennessean. Billy, real quickly, give me some people that we need to be on the lookout for tonight all across the Mid-State.
Yeah, we're going to start with MTCS running back Eli Wilson. I mean, he's a guy that has been impressive, not just in these playoffs, but also in the regular season. Last week, 27 carries for 247 yards and 6 touchdowns, and they are trying to stay alive tonight. So Eli Wilson is the first guy to watch. A lot of running backs. Had I think 3 running backs last week to watch, and we got more tonight. Keith Johnson from East Nashville is another guy to watch on the season, George. 142 carries, 1,304 yards, and 18 touchdowns. So another guy. These aren't Tyson Walcott numbers from Friendship Christian, the guy with 42 touchdowns.
That was insane.
But no, East Nashville's still alive, and Keith Johnson is another running back to watch tonight if you're going to a game. And Smith County, I don't know if many people, at least in this area in the Mid-State, might be going all the way down to Smith County, but they've got a really good quarterback, Riley Martin. He threw 4 touchdowns in the first half last week against Fayetteville.
Wow.
And so in just one half, and I think heck they might have sat him for the second half. But Riley Martin from Smith County is another guy to watch. And then lastly here, Andre Evans, cornerback at CPA.
Yes.
He was the guy that came in earlier, stopped by. He's actually a Georgia commit, was committed to LSU, and he's arguably their best player. He plays receiver. I think he's got over 300 yards. He's a DB that no one wants to go up against. They don't throw at him, right? He's phenomenal. So Andre Evans, and I mean, of course, George, we talked about it, John Wayne Oliver, guys like that. This is a CPA team with a ton of talent, and it's going to be on display tonight. And the best players will have to play well for them to win.
Okay, we'll go to break, and when we come back, it'll be time for the Star Physical Therapy Health Moment. Madison Hunt, who is the athletic trainer at West Creek High School, will join us. Please stick around.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs.
Convenience and value, two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
We're back here at CPA. As a lot of you know, we have been blessed throughout this 13, 14 weeks with great health tips through the folks at Star Physical Therapy, and today will be no different. Madison Hunt is the athletic trainer for West Creek High School, and she joins us to talk a subject that, frankly, I'll kind of throw up my hands and say I don't know a lot about, and that is sickle cell anemia. And Madison, talk to me about where that shows up in football.
So hello, first of all, thank you for having me on.
Thanks
can
for
y'all
coming
hear me
on.
clearly, I guess?
You're good.
Okay, perfect. So it is an inherited thing, so it doesn't just happen through athletes, like because they play a certain sport or they're doing something in their diet. Now in football, there's a lot of things that go into it why we want to make sure if our athlete does have sickle cell or not. And there's 2 different types, so knowing the difference between sickle cell trait and sickle cell anemia is a key factor in how to treat the patient if they do have it, and when to withhold them from participation or, get a doctor's visit scheduled to see what the next step is for that athlete. But as for football, it doesn't necessarily mean anything like they can't participate in certain aspects of the game. It just, you need to really watch them, kind of thing.
So if you're a parent, what kind of things are you looking for to say, not sure this is right?
So with someone with sickle cell, that you could see just random swelling occur with the patient. Now, this is to deal with exertional sickling is what we call it when it happens during an athletic event. Now, as a parent, it's normally an inherited gene, so you as a parent may have it already. It's not seen in the high school level a lot to just have athletes tested for sickle cell. But I know personally when I was in college athletics that I was tested for it to make sure I didn't have the gene or the trait. So that way my medical professional could properly take care of me if I did have it. So it's mainly based on, there's nothing that like you can look at the person and you would never know. It's more something that's inherited. Now, when they're in like an athletic event and it's super hot outside or they're dehydrated, that's when you could start to tell things are different from just a normal person just with normal traits that doesn't have sickling going on in their bloodstream, how they react different to that circumstance.
Last thing for you. What's the likelihood that if someone has this, they can be playing football?
Oh, super high. And you see it a lot. It just needs to be managed. So there's no where that it says someone with sickle cell trait cannot participate in athletic events. It's more as the athletic trainer or doctor, any medical professional needs to know if the athlete has it or doesn't. And so they can be aware in those certain environments that someone who has the sickle cell trait is more prone to having like a more heat cramps. And you see it a lot during the summer months when it's super hot outside. So making sure that they're properly hydrated and that sort of thing. No one with sickle cell shouldn't be able to play football. So they may need to be monitored more than others.
Madison, this is great info. Can't thank you enough. You continue a string of really good health moments that we have had through the folks at Star Physical Therapy. So please know we appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Madison Hunt is the athletic trainer at West Creek High School, giving us some terrific information that, frankly, I'm guessing most of us would not have known.
Certainly not, especially this topic.
Yeah. So, Billy, we've got a player of the week from last Friday through the folks at Southern Trophy House. Who might that be and why?
Isaiah. There isn't Elijah. It's actually Isaiah Groves, running back from East Robertson, 28 carries, 279 yards, and 3 touchdowns, all in one game. They beat previously undefeated Marion County on the road. Have you ever heard of Marion County?
Sure.
I have not.
Okay.
So learned something new. It was the first road playoff game victory for East Robertson since November 4th, 2004. So he led that team's effort. Again, 28 carries, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns. This is one of those playoff games where without him, they don't win it. So congratulations to Isaiah Groves, running back at East Robertson. And that is presented by Southern Trophy House. Again, big thanks to them all season long, providing that for us. And we will keep it going next year.
Okay, let me ask this question. this is not the first famous athletic Groves at East Robertson.
No.
Carlos Groves.
Oh, there's an
great
older
player from the University of Tennessee, basketball player. Any relation?
I would guess so. If he went to East Robertson,
you don't know for sure.
I would certainly guess so. I don't know for sure, but I know he's got 2 other brothers. So, and I think Kentucky is a school that they want to get all of them. So I think one of them is committed to Missouri. I think they're trying to flip them. So, and they've all been to East Robertson. So it's been pretty wild to watch them.
Okay, our high school exclusive hour is done. I want to thank the folks at CPA and in particular Ingle Martin for all of the help in what we were doing today. When we come back, Terry McCormick is going to join us. There is Ryan Tannehill news that you need to know about. Terry will deliver it, then we'll go tail of the tape of this weekend's game in Jacksonville, and then Coach Watson Brown to talk a lot of college football, including my belief that Oregon State is going to put a whooping on the University of Washington.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs.
We're in a little bit of a four-corner stall. Terry McCormick should be joining us in just a couple of moments. So, Billy, why don't we go ahead and get to the tail of the tape early of what we think is going to happen Sunday down in Jacksonville when the Titans go down there. Clearly, the home field, the Gator Bowl is what it used to be called. I think it's Alltel Stadium now. Either way, the home field check mark goes to the Jags. The running game goes to the Titans because of Derrick Henry for the most part. The throwing game, that's a different story. Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence, they've been able to get the ball downfield and get big chunks of yards. And so, Billy, I think you got to give the Titans, you got to go check mark Jags on that front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Will Levis, I think it's closer. I mean, before Levis was inserted, it was not even a discussion, but now at least there's that respect factor of, okay, the Titans have something, right? They don't just, with Tannehill, it's almost like they had nothing at times. Now at least they've got something. But yeah, Lawrence over Levis in this one.
I went pretty close on the defense because this Jacksonville team, I think some of the national perspective on them is the old Jags.
Yeah.
These are not the old Jags. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
And they're pretty good on defense. They will cause the Titans a lot of trouble. I give the Titans the kicking game. I'd give them the kicking game on virtually any team they would play.
Folk
because
did miss last week,
he did.
right?
Imagine that.
Yeah.
I mean, his first miss of the season. And so let's get to the intangibles here. Let's start with the Jags. Because for all of the national narrative that they're the old Jags, they're not. They're now playing, number one, to get past Houston and win the division, which I think they will. But the second thing is for seeding come playoff time.
Yeah.
They want to get home field for a round or two. And if they can do that, who knows? Because I think there's a very high ceiling on Jacksonville, and it's because of Trevor Lawrence.
Exactly. Trevor Lawrence, ETN. I mean, those two guys, he's got protection. I mean, Will Levis and the Titans. When's the last time the Titans could say they have a good offensive line? They've got a good offensive line. They've got pieces on defense. But for the Jags right now, George, you're right. I mean, this is a big game for them, right? I mean, if they want to take that next step and make that run of the playoffs, this is a game they got to win. For the Titans, kind of stay alive. Is there any pride left? And we'll see.
Well, let me take the pride thing a little farther. I think that for a couple of weeks, there was a little joy in Mudville around the fact that Will Levis looks like a guy who could step in a year from now and be this team's starting quarterback, make all the throws, do a lot of good things. And so about the time we all were going, thank God, then there was this ugly performance a week ago in Tampa where people are now talking the other.
Mm-hmm.
The Titans suck. Their offense sucks. Their offensive line sucks. Everything sucks. They've been hearing that for a week. And if there is any level of pride to their football team at all, they're going to want to show something better against the team that now is the measuring stick. Mm-hmm. Jacksonville is simply the measuring stick in the division for everybody else, and Houston isn't far behind. C.J. Stroud's the real deal.
Sure is.
And so this is sort of a, where do the Titans stack? And,
Well, because it's a division game. I mean, we'll get your score here in a second. I don't expect a blowout because it is a division game. But if the Titans play the way they did last week, it doesn't matter who they play, whether it's a division game or not. I mean, Jags are a good bit better than Tampa.
So think about what went on at the end of last season. As the Titans were in the process of losing 7 in a row and blowing a huge divisional lead, it was Jacksonville that was catching them. And it came down to the final game of the year to decide who was going to win the division. And the Titans had a great blueprint in that game. Remember, Josh Dobbs was the quarterback, and they slowed that game down to a snail's pace, up 16-13 with less than 3 minutes to play when Dobbs threw the pick that ultimately won the division for Jacksonville. That's what the Titans are probably going to want to do Sunday. Jacksonville, on the other hand, is going to want to up-tempo it, get the ball downfield, get big chunk plays, and I think because they're at home, they're going to succeed at it. Here's your final score. Jacksonville 31, Titans 17.
Not even close, huh? I mean, I don't disagree. I think the Titans can hold the Jags down to maybe in the 20s, but can the Titans score? I mean, if like I said, if they do the same thing they did last week, they have no shot. But this is a big game for the defense. Titans defense. I'm watching them to see, okay, can they get up off the mat and figure out what they're doing? But I'm sure Terry will be able to answer that as well.
Yes, it is now time for Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update, brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady. And through the folks at USA Mortgage, that absolutely is possible. So dial her up at 615-969-4350. Terry McCormick, Main Street Media, joining us. Terry, it looks like Ryan Tannehill is going to be available on Sunday.
Yep, looks like he's going to be the number 2 quarterback behind Will Levis, and that means Malik Willis drops down to be the number 3 quarterback, probably declared inactive, and then be the emergency backup if both of those guys were to have to leave the ball game. Interesting, Tannehill, we talked to him today in the locker room, and he said the ankle's getting closer to 100%, and he talked about last year how that he really rushed back, probably before he should have, to try and give this team, its best opportunity to win. And he talked a little bit about that, and he said that if there's one good thing that's happened for him in terms of, no longer being the starting quarterback, it's given him a chance to actually heal up this time.
Terry, is he close enough to 100% to warrant being activated?
Sure, absolutely. I think so. I think that's probably, the reason that they're, going to give him the number 2 spot this week is because he is healthy enough to play if something were to happen to Will Levis. So Tannehill, he'll be active and ready to be called upon. The Titans do have 3 guys that won't be active on Sunday, already been declared out. 2 of them are no surprise. One is Traylon Burks and the other is Andre Dillard, both in the concussion protocol. The third one is starting cornerback Sean Murphy-Bunting, who had surgery on his thumb last week and is in the recovery process. He practiced most of the week, but they want to give him another week to rest that before they test it out with some kind of brace on it probably next week.
Terry, speaking of injuries, I just want you to give me an opinion on this. It sure looks like the Bengals withheld info going into last night about Joe Burrow because there's been enough video evidence that when he got off the plane, there was some sort of a device that he was wearing, to protect the wrist. And then in the game, we know what happened. NFL's going to jump on them for that, aren't they?
They are, but at some point, they may get a little fine out of the deal. But it's one of those things where, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, apparently, George. And so did the Bengals conceal the fact that Burrow was dealing with something with his wrist? Probably. Will there be a fine? Perhaps. Will there be anything more that comes out of this in terms of, more punitive action or a league-wide mandate? I doubt it, because it's just kind of the way it works in the NFL, how that, they put certain things out there and then certain things are swept under the rug. And if somebody discovers them, then there's a little bit of a price to pay, and then they move on to the next thing.
Do you see the Titans being really much better Sunday than they were a week ago?
It's hard to say because this offense is just so disheveled in terms of lack of playmakers and things like that. If the ball's not in, Derrick Henry's hands, or it's not in DeAndre Hopkins, or maybe once in a while Tajay Spears' hands, not a whole lot getting done out there. I mean, they owe it to Will Levis to this offseason to upgrade the supporting cast, starting with the offensive line and then addressing some of the skill positions to try and maximize what he's able to do. As far as this game goes, the one thing that scares me about it is they went down to Tampa, and the Bucs were coming off a devastating loss to the Houston Texans where they got shredded for 470 passing yards, 5 touchdowns by C.J. Stroud. And when you have such an embarrassing defensive performance, there's generally a come to Jesus meeting and everybody gets back on the same page and you fix things the next week. That's what happened against the Titans, who were just unable to get anything going. The Jacksonville Jaguars in the same situation. They were embarrassed at home by the 49ers last week. So they're going to be having their own situation where they try to atone for a bad performance. And guess who's walking into that buzzsaw? The Titans. I think, I do think the Titans probably match up a little better with Jacksonville maybe than they did with Tampa. They'll also have the familiarity of them being a division opponent that they're used to their play style and whatnot, but certainly an uphill battle. By the way, you know what today is the 1-year anniversary of?
No, tell me.
The 1-year anniversary of the last time the Titans won a road game, that Thursday nighter in Green Bay.
Wow.
That is wild to hear.
Terry, with your anniversary.
Yes. A full calendar year since that happened.
And since then, 13 of the last 16 regular season games have been
have been losses. 7 in a row to end this year, and then 3, wins this year to go with 6 losses. So yeah, it's been a rocky road for the Titans since that Thursday night win up in Green Bay last year. You look at where this team is, and the schedule does get a little easier. The schedule's backloaded with some home games. There's maybe 2 to 3 winnable games left on this season on the schedule, but this is a team that certainly needs to have everything go right in order to have a chance to win on Sunday or any of their remaining road games, to be honest.
Terry, we'll check back in with you on Monday, see how the whole thing shook out in Jacksonville. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you Monday.
All right, sounds good. You guys have a good weekend.
Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that absolutely can happen. Dial her up at 615-969-4350. After the break, we'll get Coach Watson Brown's take on the firing of Jimbo Fisher and the rumblings coming out of Pennsylvania about James Franklin. Stay tuned.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458, or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Okay, let's get into a big weekend of college football that's coming tomorrow and say hello to Coach Watson Brown, who joins us to talk a little bit about that. Watson, how are you?
Great, guys. Ready for another weekend, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. You ready to yap a little?
Let's go for it.
Okay. I want you to put your athletic director hat on.
Ooh, that's dangerous.
Yeah. If you're Texas A&M, who is the best candidate to replace Jimbo?
You'll think I'm nuts, but I really think it'd be Lane Kiffin, and I don't know if they could get him, but he knows Sark so well at Texas, and I think he would jump in there and take him on big time, and that would be really hard for Texas to keep winning the state and recruiting like I think they have the last few years. Well, not that one year where A&M bought about as many as you could buy legally, but that would be my guy if I was them, because you gotta beat Texas before you jump and beat everybody else.
So, do you think some of this is Lane Kiffin looking at the head-to-head matchups he's had with Alabama and with Georgia and just saying, I've taken Ole Miss as far as I can take it?
I'm not even saying Lane would be interested, to be very honest. I don't know that he would. But A&M is the best one I thought they had was Coach Sherrill. You've got to have, there's so much involved there. The fan base, the alumni are more involved at Texas A&M than any school in the country. There's not one like it. And the money that comes from their alumni and their fan base is tops in the country. And I just think you've got to have a personality like that to be able to handle all that, because it's a big piece of that job.
Interesting.
Watson, what real quick on that, one more on A&M. Lance Leipold has done a heck of a job at Kansas. Is that a guy you reach out to if you're A&M, and would there be any hesitancy because he hasn't, he's done it at Kansas. He hasn't done it maybe at an SEC school quite yet.
I think they could get to him, but what I think they're going to do first is go at the top line guys, the ones that image wise and have done it at different places. And I just think that's what they'll do. That's what they did with Jimbo. But he didn't fit there. I didn't think he had that personality that would just excite everybody, keep them excited. You can't imagine all of the events you got to go to at A&M. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I'm not sure he had the personality for that job. That's just me. That and a dime will get you maybe a cup of coffee, but I just think it takes a different personality there to pull this off.
Should Lincoln Riley be looking at this? Should there be any USC's not the fit for me?
I don't know that they'll go Lincoln myself, because I mean he's catching grief right now himself.
Right.
And he caught a ton when he left Oklahoma. I mean, to leave Oklahoma to go to SC, that is most definitely a straight across move, George, to me. And a lot of people blamed him, said he was running from the SEC. I don't think that was true. But I'm not sure A&M would go there right now, just because Oklahoma got real upset at him. And now I tell you, the USC folks are not real pleased right now at all. And as bad as that defense has been, if you're the right man, you got to correct it long before he has this. You needed to fix that, and he didn't, and he wasn't able to do it. And so I'm not sure that he would be on that top list. He might be on that second list, but I don't know that he'd be on that top list.
Watson, let me run another coach by you and get your thoughts. There's some real grumbling going on right now at Penn State in a program that clearly is at the top of the second tier of the Big Ten. But when they go up against either Ohio State or Michigan, they have absolutely no offense to show for it. Is this a fixable deal? Can James Franklin get them to the top tier?
I don't know. It's hard. That job is a hard one because Joe Paterno wasn't in the Big Ten, but he set a standard there, George, that's just been hard to reach because of who they're playing. You've always listened to me say jobs are made off of how good a player can you get against who you're playing in your conference. And that's it. That is the deal. And Penn State just has not yet been able to get up there in the Big Ten. Do I think they should? Yes. I think it's one of the best jobs in the country. I don't know why they haven't, and I'm not blaming James, but I know they haven't yet. I haven't understood. He had a quarterback. What was the kid that's in the NFL as a backup now? The kid that
Trace McSorley.
Trace McSorley.
McSorley.
Yeah.
And he moved the ball, exciting. He hasn't been able to come up with that again. And I don't know that it's coordinator and our quarterback. They just, when I've watched them play, they're so dang conservative. You don't know if the quarterback can make the plays or not.
Right.
So I'm not sure about that one. But all I know is Penn State has yet to really hit the top. Now, he got close. He went to a Rose Bowl. He's been close. But there is no doubt he's got to fix the offense if they give him a chance to do that. But he's got to go fix the offense. And I don't know if the quarterback is the right guy. I know the coordinator's not getting it done.
I want to lay two theories on you that I have been babbling all week, and you can shoot them down. If you agree with me, who knows? I may send you some money. So
no, that ain't coming.
No, the first one involves the Tennessee-Georgia game. Watson, I think it's all decided really early. If Tennessee jumps up early and gets some things done, and they can get that crowd into a positive vibe, then they're going to be there till the end. But if it starts out 10-0 Georgia, there's in the backdrop right now is some real negativity in Knoxville about the fact that they're not better, about the fact that Missouri beat the crap out of them. And they don't need that tomorrow. And so I think it all comes down to what kind of start do they get off to?
Yeah, I 100% agree. I said that on Tony's show this week. I think it all depends on the start because the fans are waiting to let loose and have another Alabama day, and they're looking for that. They've been pointing at this game all year, and just so happens that they didn't win some up to it to make it what it really could have been. And they've laid an egg, George, once every year now, the last two. And about the same time of the year. I mean, they laid an egg at South Carolina last year, and then they laid an egg at Missouri. They got to loosen up for some reason, and Josh is the only one that really knows this, but for some reason, they have not been as wide open as they were last year. Now, I've watched just about every game, and people are playing them different this year. They're walking out to all of their sets and saying, beat me with a run. And so his within the change stuff, George, is built on what you give me. Well, everybody has said, I think they just saw last year and they were scared. I don't think Tennessee has the talent they had last year at receiver and quarterback. But everybody has said, we're not letting you do that. You won't score enough points just handing it off in here. And they haven't been able to. And they haven't been able to win the big game because of it. So I think they've got to just force being more wide open tomorrow. Let it go, man. What the heck? And they need to get these people behind them. It's exactly what I said. They've got to get off to a great start, but loosen up and let it go. You can't beat Georgia. The two best coach teams in the country this year in the SEC, and maybe in the country, but in the SEC, are the two that everybody talks about. Well, you don't have to coach. That's just talent. The two best coaching jobs have been done at Georgia and Alabama because they have taken their quarterbacks, gotten them better, built the team around them, and now I think they're both in the top 4 right now in the country. I truly believe that. And so you want to beat Georgia, you better score 35 or more to beat Georgia. That might not be enough at 35. So loosen up and let it go. And what the heck? You can't be conservative and have any shot at them.
Okay, here's the other one I've talked myself into. A week ago, Utah took Washington to the mat in Seattle, and Washington was really lucky to win. Now Washington's got to go to Oregon State, which may not have the sexiest name, but that's a really good football team, and I don't think Washington's going to win up there.
I'm with you there. Usually I don't always agree with you, do but I'm with you on this one. I think this is the one this week in the country. This is the game where you can see the big upset. And I just think Oregon State is better than everybody thinks they are. And they're physical. And that's what Washington has struggled with, is physicality on defense, with their defense against whoever the physicality of an offense. So I think this team is got the perfect recipe to be able to match Washington. And I don't think that Washington will score as many points because Oregon State's pretty good on defense too. So I would say that along with my brother's game. I think Carolina is due for a big one. They've kind of floundered around here for a month, lost a couple of games, one in a very close one with Duke, which I thought they should have beaten Duke because Duke's playing their third-string quarterback. I think Carolina will pop up this week now that they're the underdogs, and that could be another upset right there.
Watson, let's go to the Heisman Trophy. I personally think Jaden Daniels you could hand it to him right now after his performance. I mean, arguably the best statistic performance from any quarterback, especially a mobile, dual threat quarterback with his rushing yards. I mean, would you agree there? Are you thinking, kind of hold off a little bit, see what Penix does, maybe Bo Nix, McCarthy? I mean, where are you laying in terms of the Heisman Trophy right now?
I think the Heisman should be what player does the best for his football team in this year. But that's not what they've done. They've usually taken high-profile guy, mostly quarterbacks, on the teams that win the most games. And if they do that, he won't win it. If they truly take the guy that's done the most for his team, it's Jalen Daniels. I don't even think it's close, to be very honest.
Mm-hmm.
I just think he's been phenomenal. And they were right there when he got hurt at Alabama, and he was making plays in that game till he went out with a concussion. So I agree with you 100%. But they're going to have to change their MO, Billy, if they give it to him, because that's not what they've done in years past. It's always been off of one of the real high-ranked teams that wins it.
One more from me. You mentioned Alabama there. I think a lot of people, maybe they're not sleeping anymore, but Alabama, I think, is a team that Georgia in the SEC title, might be a little hesitant, maybe a little scared. I mean, I would not want to play Alabama right now. And all of a sudden, if Alabama beats Georgia, I mean, you got to put them in the playoff at that point. I mean, beating a Georgia team like that, now that's a big if, I think. But Watson, how good do you think Alabama is right now? And do you think they are a team that could make the playoff?
Probably might say they're the one I wouldn't want to play right now, because I think they're really good, and they have this quarterback Gilroy. He's gotten better every week, and I don't think the offensive coordinator at Alabama has gotten enough credit. Here's another reason I say that Georgia and Alabama have done the best coaching jobs. They both lost really good quarterbacks, and they both lost offensive coordinators, both. And yet look where they are now. I wouldn't want to play Alabama when they're underdogs, and they will be. They'll be underdogs to Georgia. If they beat Georgia and get in, they'll be underdogs to somebody. If they beat Georgia, they're in. The SEC champion is going to get in of those two. And the question would be, Georgia still get in? And I'm not sure they won't, because if Washington loses one somewhere, they're going to fall down quite a bit.
Yeah,
because they haven't been impressive, especially on defense. And Oregon would be the other one, Billy, I think, look out for. I think they're really good. I would not want to play Oregon. I would not want to play Alabama right now. That's the two I'd stay away from.
Well, and Coach, I think part of Nick Saban this whole season has loved it. Just been licking his chops, as the underdog per se. And I just think, he's getting older. Miss Terry, we all talk about her maybe wearing on him a little bit in terms of, getting softer with some certain guys. But I think a lot of Nick Saban has loved this season. And because think about it, when has he had a season like this other than maybe the first couple, 2-3 years of his tenure?
No, he never has, really, since he's been rolling. And what's happened this year is he lost early. So then everybody throws him out.
Yeah.
So he just sit back and kind of roll along here and let everybody go and sell a few Mercedes and just kind of hang out, but I think he's done his best job. He stayed calm. We all looked at him like he was crazy when he benched the quarterback at South Florida and didn't even play him in the game.
Yep.
But I think what he was doing, he wanted to see the other guys. He knew what he had in the one he has. He wanted to see the other two guys and see what they could do. And they didn't stick out to him. So he went right back, got on the plane, won the game, got on the plane and said, okay, we're going with him. Now let's fix the offense around him. And I think his offensive coordinator did that exactly. That's why, to me, if he, in my opinion, I'm not so sure he wouldn't be my SEC Coach of the Year. And people wouldn't want to hear that because he's been that so many times. The other guy that doesn't get enough credit is Missouri now.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, what an improved team they are.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, I wouldn't want to mess with them. I would not want to mess with them either. They're tough.
Yeah.
They're physical, and you can just see his personality coming out in that team, man. I mean, what a trap that was for Tennessee the other day, man. They walked into a hornet's nest because they couldn't wait to get them there. And I was disappointed in Tennessee because they knew they were going into a hornet's nest, and yet it didn't seem like they responded to it.
Watson, really appreciate your taking the time. We'll yap again on Monday when we get into all of the Titans stuff.
And that's going to be an interesting game. This is the season right here for the Titans, George. Ain't no doubt in my mind. This is the season. They got a long way to go if they win it. They're done if they lose it.
Thanks. We'll do it again
Okay,
Monday.
Thanks, Coach.
See you Monday.
It's Coach Watson Brown, and we thank him for taking the time to be with us. Okay, it is the moment all of you have waited for where I make you some money.
Here we go. Plaster's
Yes.
Bets of the Weekend, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Give them a call, 615-242-9000, or log on to bartdurham.com. You ready to review what happened last night?
Yes.
Pitt got a win. They beat Boston College. How about that?
Boston College is awful.
Were they not the better team? Were they not 4-6?
Yeah, I mean, on paper they were, but last night they weren't.
Good for Pitt. That
Yeah.
was their third win of the year, I think.
Okay, so let's get to I've got 5 college plays and 2 pro plays.
Okay.
And none of this is going to surprise you. Yes, I do believe Oregon State is going to win tomorrow night and knock Washington out of the unbeaten ranks. Why? Because Oregon State is really good. They're underrated. People don't see them a lot. They're in that Pac-12 after dark, which means you're asleep by the time they play. They're really good. Their quarterback, he may not be Michael Penix, but he's been really good at Oregon State. The other reason is that Washington is coming off having it took everything they had to get by Utah a week ago. It won't work this time. They're on the road in Corvallis, and Oregon State's going to beat them.
Engel would not budge on this earlier.
No, you know what? But you don't see anything in this that says Engel Martin's record.
No.
This is my deal. I have to go with what I believe.
That's true.
Thank you. Okay, this second one, I have this feeling.
I'm with you on this.
I got this feeling that Kentucky's run out of gas. I don't think the quarterback has been as good as people hoped he would be.
He's not been very good.
And South Carolina's sitting there with a home crowd that's really good, and they will help them tomorrow night. And Spencer Rattler will have a big game. He'll go off, and Carolina at home will beat Kentucky.
I agree. It's a weird pick. I think it's down to like 0.5.
Yeah.
A half a point now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. It's basically a pick 'em. But I like South Carolina. They're 4-6. They're, nothing really to lose. I mean, yeah, they're still fighting for a bowl game, but Kentucky, I think there's more pressure on Kentucky here in this one. So maybe Beamer pulls some fake punts out of his hat and finds a way tonight. But either way, it's going to be nuts.
The third one I have been yapping about all week. Kansas has had a great season, and it probably is going to get them a coaching search because I believe Lance Leopold is going to end up at the top of some people's list. And if he's smart, he's not going to stay at Kansas. But what's the one thing that would complete a great year for Kansas? That would be to take care of Kansas State at Kansas. Here's where I'm going with this. In that state, Kansas has been the bastard stepchild for a good while. Kansas State has been basically thumbing their nose at Kansas saying, "We're your daddy." Well, they might not be anymore. Kansas is pretty darn good, and Kansas is good enough to play within that 8.5. I think they're good enough to pull the upset and win outright in Lawrence, 6 o'clock tomorrow night, FS1.
Okay.
Okay.
Why don't they play on rivalry week?
I don't know.
That's weird.
I can't answer that. Okay, the last two. I'm taking Tennessee plus all those points. I don't know, none of us know how this is going to play out. Do I think Tennessee's going to win the game? No, but I think they're going to make it very interesting. If the game were at Georgia, it's no contest. but it's not. It's in Knoxville. It's at Neyland Stadium. And the suspicion has to be that this crowd is going to help them play within that number. And the last one that I go with on the college level, I don't know what's happened at Cincinnati. They've fallen apart. Their
Luke
talent
Fickell
level,
left.
yeah, their talent level. He hadn't
And he
exactly,
took a lot of players with him.
yeah, and he hadn't
But-
exactly,
Yeah.
That
might be a perfect explanation. He took a lot of his guys with him, and
Wisconsin's losing.
Yeah.
Anyway, West Virginia has probably saved Neil Brown's job in a year where he had to do some winning.
Yep.
West Virginia at home, within a touchdown, they will cover against Cincinnati. On to the 2 pro games. The first one, why do I go against Green Bay at home? Because Jordan Love has not gotten it done, period. The Chargers, they're a little bit of a dumpster fire too. And before it's over, Brandon Staley's going to get fired. This team's got way too much talent for where they are, but they are good enough to go on the road and win at Green Bay. And then the Sunday night game. I got to be honest, I was shocked a few nights ago at how good Russell Wilson was.
Yeah.
For all the heat that he has taken and for the belief that he and a certain head coach hate each other, and I think they do, something's changed in Denver. Number one, they're playing really good defense. And number two, Russell Wilson is back to moving around, buying time, and getting himself extra play when it looks like the play is broken down. He's lost some weight, and that's been a big help. Minnesota, you could argue, same kind of deal with Josh Dobbs. But the game's in Denver, and I'm going mile high minus the 2.5 against the Vikings. Those are my picks.
I like them. I don't like the Tennessee pick. I think Georgia rolls over Tennessee. But other than that, I like West Virginia. I like South Carolina. Weirdly, I don't really know why, and then Kansas. I do like Kansas to bounce back because they lost last week.
They lost at home to Texas Tech. In fairness, Kansas does not have their starting quarterback, and that's why the line is that large. But I think now they've had an extra week to prepare this guy.
Yep.
And I think Kansas is dying to put a hurt on Kansas State.
Well, luckily for Kansas fans, Daniels announced he's coming back next year. So
yeah, that's some good news.
Yep.
That might keep him a coach. Who knows?
Yeah, and then also one note within the last 5-10 minutes or so, Joe Burrow announced to be out for the season.
Yeah.
So awful
The
Bengals
news. Are not going to the playoffs.
Nope.
The question is Buffalo? Well, the answer is no. If they can't beat the Jets on Sunday, they're still alive if they get that win. Anyway, we got a lot of football to get to.
Yep.
Thanks to all of you for being with us. Thanks to the folks here at CPA for having us, for Billy Derrick, for Coach Ingle Martin, the entire crew, George Plaster. Have a great weekend. Drive safely. And tonight, go see a high school football game because those kids are your college stars of the future.